Cynthia had one rule. She would never, under any circumstance, date a poor man. Love was beautiful. But poverty? Poverty was a wound that never truly healed. And she had seen that wound up close. Growing up in Benin City, Cynthia didn't understand luxury. She understood survival. Her father once owned a small electronics shop. People respected him. Until the business collapsed. Debt swallowed everything. The landlord stopped smiling. School fees became public embarrassment. There were nights when the electricity was cut off. Nights when dinner was just Gary and sugar. Nights when she heard her parents whispering about unpaid bills. Her mother began waking up before sunrise, frying a kara by the roadside. Rain or shine, Cynthia would lie in bed pretending to sleep. But she heard the quiet crying. Every tear planted something inside her. Fear. And a promise. When I grow up, I will never struggle like this. To her, love without money was a trap, and she refused to fall into it. University felt like escape. New environment, new identity, new possibilities. And that was where Daniel walked into her life. Daniel wasn't flashy. He didn't spray money at parties. He didn't compete for attention. He wore simple clothes, used a small Android phone, laughed softly, spoke calmly, but he was steady. The kind of person who shows up every time. When she missed a class, he sent her notes. When her laptop malfunctioned, he fixed it quietly. When she was stressed before exams, he brought her snacks and sat beside her. Not asking for anything, just present. One afternoon, heavy rain fell after lectures. Students ran in every direction. Cynthia stood stranded under a small shade. Daniel removed his hoodie and held it over her head. They both got soaked, but he kept smiling. "You'll fall sick," he said. In that moment, her heart softened. She felt something safe, something rare. But fear spoke louder than affection. Fear always did. Weeks later, he finally said it. "Cynthia, I like you. Not just as a friend." Her heart raced. She saw sincerity in his eyes. Real sincerity. Not performance. Not pride. Just honesty. For a second, she almost said yes. But then she remembered her mother's tired hands. Her father's broken silence. "I can't date someone who is still trying to find his way," she said carefully. He looked confused. "I am finding my way," he replied calmly. She shook her head. "I don't want to struggle again." The words hung in the air. He didn't argue. He didn't beg. He simply nodded and stepped back. 4 days after that, he stopped sitting beside her in class. Stopped waiting for her after lectures. Stopped looking at her the way he used to. And that silence hurt more than his confession ever could. But pride kept her quiet. Then Kelvin entered the picture. Kelvin didn't approach softly. He impressed loudly. A sleek car, designer watches, confident laughter, expensive restaurants. For the first time in her life, Cynthia felt chosen by success. Her friends admired her. "You've secured your future," they said. And she believed them. At first, Kelvin loved control. He decided what she wore, who she followed, when she should reply. "If you love me, you won't question me." Arguments started small, then grew louder. One evening, Kelvin hosted friends. They talked investments, business, money. When Cynthia tried contributing, Kelvin laughed. "Baby, let the men handle this." Everyone chuckled. She forced a smile, but something inside her shrank. Later that night, she stared into the mirror. Perfect makeup, perfect dress, perfect relationship. But she didn't recognize herself. She had traded peace for status, and she wasn't sure it was worth it. One night during an argument, Kelvin grabbed her wrist. Not hard enough to bruise, but hard enough to warn. And in that moment, She realized something terrifying. Money can provide comfort, but it cannot guarantee safety. Still, she stayed. Because leaving meant admitting she chose wrong. And pride is a powerful prison. Months passed. Then came the invitation. A major tech conference in Lagos. Kelvin insisted she attend. She wore her best dress, ready to be seen. But life has a way of humbling pride. When the host announced the keynote speaker, her breath stopped. Please welcome the founder and CEO of D-Tech Innovations, Daniel. He walked onto the stage. Confident, composed, commanding. The same quiet boy, now powerful. The audience stood to applaud. Daniel spoke about resilience, about building quietly, about not needing validation to grow. Every word felt personal, as if he wasn't speaking to the crowd, but to her. Someone whispered behind her. His family owns major investments. He just lives simple, very private. Her heart dropped. It wasn't poverty. It was humility. She remembered the rainy afternoon, the hoodie over her head, the kindness she dismissed. And suddenly, success didn't look attractive. Character did. After the event, she found him outside. Daniel. He turned slowly. No bitterness, just growth. I didn't know, she said. He gave a small smile. You didn't ask. Silence filled the space. I was afraid, she admitted. I know, he replied. But I needed someone who would stay. Before the applause. That sentence shattered her pride. Because she knew she would have left during the silence. That night, Kelvin accused her of embarrassing him. The argument escalated. And this time, he pushed her. Not violently, but intentionally. And that was enough. She walked away. No shouting. No drama. Just clarity. Months later, she focused on herself. Started a small fashion brand. Built it slowly. Without depending on anyone. Without fear. Without pride. She heard Daniel was engaged. To a woman who met him before the spotlight. A woman who saw value without evidence. It hurt. But it also healed her. Because she finally understood something important. The loudest man in the room is not always the strongest. And the quietest man is not always the weakest. Sometimes, the person who looks like a risk is actually the safest place you'll ever find. And sometimes, the person who looks like security is the biggest gamble. Money can buy comfort, but it cannot buy character. It cannot buy patience. It cannot buy peace. Cynthia didn't lose Daniel because he lacked wealth. She lost him because she judged too quickly. Because she valued appearance over depth. Because she mistook simplicity for struggle. And by the time she understood the difference, life had already moved on. Now let me ask you something. If you were in her position, what would you choose? Potential or present wealth? Would you build with someone from the beginning? Or wait for someone who has already arrived? There's no right answer. But your answer says a lot about you. Tell me honestly in the comments. And if you enjoy stories that reflect real life, stories that challenge the way we think about love and money, subscribe. Because sometimes, the lesson you ignore today becomes the regret you carry tomorrow.